So next, and we're doing pretty well because we're only 45 minutes in because we started late, right? Amazon worker reinstated. Yay. Okay, we actually have a decent story. How about that?
Yeah.
I found a decent uplifting story, a good one, which is from this lady, Sarah Fee. She works in San Bernardino, California. How my coworkers got me reinstated. Holy shit. One day, the workers performed a 1-day strike, and you'll see. And she wrote this letter. She wrote this article in Labor Notes, which I thought was really cool. So you're hearing directly from a worker who was retaliated against, fired, or suspended, and her coworkers stood up for her in solidarity. And they're not in a union, but they are organized and working towards a union. And I support that tremendously. So I'm going to read her words here that she's never organized before, and what they're doing at Amazon is all new to her. When she first started working at KSBD, which is the Amazon Air Hub in San Bernardino, it was in the middle of the pandemic and they were hiring in mad numbers. No one else was. She needed a job fast, and it seemed like the kind of place where she could move up. KSBD is brand new. It opened in April of 21, and she's among one of the first hired. Depending on the season, there were about 1,200 to 1,600 workers there, located at an airport. So a few hundred people worked outside with the planes, and the rest of us are inside. Right? She works on the docks, unloading trailers. It operates 24/7. Holy shit! So when she started, she was organizing, but didn't even recognize it. But she was focused on the work process and making the warehouse run more smoothly, and seemed like Amazon had opened KSBD without a lot of planning, which is weird. Like, we were testing the operation as we went, and she was really hands-on, and they helped to make the way they move freight through the warehouse safer, more efficient, but for the same, of course, low pay. Thanks a lot, Jeff. But then she went to an all-hands meeting of everyone in the warehouse, and some of her coworkers stood up and challenged the managers about unexpected holiday closures. And she learned that when Amazon closed the warehouse for additional days around Christmas and New Year's, some people lost almost a full week of pay. Suddenly, they didn't have all the money that they were counting on to buy Christmas gifts. One of the coworkers lost her place to live, and it was that changed her focus to her coworkers and what she needed. She was doing mutual aid. She didn't even know what she was doing, but she was doing mutual aid. So on her first day, so she says that there are so many ways to get fired. And her quote is that on the first day, on your first day, they like to pound it into you that you have a real future with the company. It's very rah-rah. Okay. A lot of people get promoted and there's room for progression. And they tell this to everybody in group meetings and in one of the departments. But you learn pretty quickly that almost none of the tier 1 associates, which are the entry-level employees like her, ever become managers. And then you start to hear the stories about people who have applied for promotions and have all their paperwork in line, and then they never hear back. They never move up. When you first get hired, they also tell you that there are many ways to get fired. We can't even list them all, they say. And we can't even tell you all the reasons because that would take forever. In the warehouse, they watch you. There are cameras everywhere. When you're under surveillance like that and you know you can get fired at any moment, it makes you scared and paranoid. The fear is instilled from day one. I'm going to pause there because I will also say that aligns with the conversations that we've had with Matt, who was our former, the fired and retaliated employee in Kentucky at the Amazon warehouse. But I also have been talking with another Amazon worker anonymously. He's asked, or they have asked repeatedly. I don't know if it's a he or a she actually, but they're more to the right wing, and I believe they're more in the South. But what they've been saying was that at Christmas time they took away some type of paid bonus that was not happening. Okay, on top of screwing over the peak pay and the Christmas bonus, they decided not to give holiday pay for Christmas Eve. Relatively small, but certainly adds insult to injury. So they also rolled back their cold snap policy, which is that They used to pay people to go home during deep freezes, but not anymore, which is kind of messed up. So why did Sarah go on strike and her with her colleagues? Which is that they want to get paid a dignified wage. Living in California, $19.20 an hour doesn't go very far. She's got nieces and nephews and brothers. She wanted to be able to do things like take them out to dinner, or high birthday or Christmas gifts. This year, she wasn't, unfortunately, able to do much of that. Right? So she also wants the warehouse to be a safe place where they have high rates of musculoskeletal injuries, concussions, heat stroke, repetitive motion injuries. And she wants it to be a place where you're not in fear of losing your job all the time, where you could have a career or stay there and have a good job for a while. Also, probably somewhere you can move up. That's why last summer we started our group of KSBD employees, Inland Empire Workers United, and went on one-day strikes in August and October. So each time, about 150 of them walked out, majority of the shift. While they were outside the facility, they heard that managers were frustrated and the volume of freight processed was way down, of course. Since their strikes, they won some safety improvements. They got more access to water and fans. And managers finally acknowledged that they have the right to take heat breaks to prevent their bodies from overheating. And they won a $1 an hour increase, which was with even more for the night shift. That's all great, but these changes are why we won't stop organizing. So, since our first strike in August, union busters at that facility have targeted her and the other worker leaders. Surprise, surprise. She doesn't know if it's something most people can imagine. A consultant employed by Amazon is paid a lot to watch them, to talk to the people she works with, and just be there. Or they isolate her, assign her for the day to a different area with just one or two other people. And it definitely has had an effect on her mental health, which is really sad and done by design. They're trying to force her to quit or to stop. When she spoke up to the building manager about this retaliation, they suspended her, and her job was threatened. But her coworkers had her back. They quickly put together a plan. Someone suggested wearing stickers that said, "Where is Sarah?" They mapped out how to get everyone in the warehouse talking about Amazon retaliating against an associate, and they filed an unfair labor practice charge with the NLRB. They wore stickers until she was reinstated 3 days later, and she kept her job, and she owes it to her coworkers working together. For her, the highlight of working at Amazon is being part of Inland Empire Amazon Workers United. It's the people, spending time with my coworkers and making our workplace better and safer. Fucking Amazon doesn't deserve somebody this good. When it's you versus Amazon, you know who has the power. But when we work together, there's nothing better to protect you. Chris Smalls, are you listening? We need to elevate and amplify the stories of people like this. Sarah Fee, she works at the Amazon hub in San Bernardino. What was that? Oh, that was my. This is fantastic. So if you want to reach out through Instagram, Twitter, email, i.e. amazonworkers@gmail.com. Support these guys. Total solidarity with what they did.